Well, good morning and welcome to the Mayor's Weekly. As always, we're pleased to have you with us, and it looks as though spring is about to break. The weather's still a little chilly, but I think that corrects probably next week and we move on. I shared with you some weeks back that we would begin to have some segments where we talk about something other than city government. We talk about our city, our community, and that's what we have today. And joining me is Dr. Buddy Thorne. Buddy, thank you for joining me today. And couldn't have a better guest. Buddy has spent his entire life, went away to school, but spent his entire life in this community, and I underscore community. Buddy grew up in Cordova, and but that's community, and we're not an island in Jasper, and we're a part of Walker County, and all of our outlying municipalities make a contribution to this city. But Buddy, you've been here a long time, and seen a lot of things, and share with us a little bit about your thoughts and your recollections, your fond memories of growing up in this community. I know you've always had an interest in sports and were hands-on back in the earlier days.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. It's amazing how our city and our county has progressed in the last several years.
Yeah.
We've really made some progress, and if people don't believe it, all they have to do is walk down to Jasper here about 6 o'clock one afternoon when they used to roll up the streets and walk down 19th Street, and you'll see a vibrant community of restaurants, and of course starting up at Bernard's. We'll put a little plug in for them. Probably the best men's store in the country, or as good as there is. And Jasper's really progressed. And I'd be remiss if I didn't just brag on our law enforcement people here in Jasper. JC has done such a great job, and our sheriff's always on the ball. Nick is. I went to school, graduated from Cordova with JC's father, Curtis, and he was a good friend. But our police department is just super here in Jasper, and our county government is also our police. We don't have to worry about walking down the street in Jasper, Alabama, because we're protected. I recall, and this is just right off the hook, there's going to have a gathering up there at the Confederate Memorial.
Right.
And everybody was just dreading it so much. And by the time JC and them got through surrounding everything up there, they didn't anybody show up even. Didn't even anybody show up. That's a sign of great law enforcement right there, where they prevent anything from happening. So that's about part of it, Mayor. And I'm just so glad you invited me down here, and I'm glad to be a part of this community.
Well, I thank you for that, and we want everybody living here to have those same sentiments, because if they do, this community will grow. And what I know, I don't know that I've ever had much confidence in the census. You know, sometimes they say we lose population and whatever, but I've been around here a long time, and there's more traffic on the streets today. And sometimes in the mornings I drive around, and you look at our retail food establishments in the morning, and traffic is backed out onto the street. And we look at our sales tax revenues. Our sales tax revenues last year was a record of records. This year, we're at the midway point of the fiscal year. Our sales tax revenues are up by 12%. That betters the state of Alabama. That betters what the state of Alabama is doing as a whole, and extremely pleased about that. Hey, Buddy, we go back a little bit. I know you're interested in swimming, and we talked a bit leading up to us getting on the camera. You're involved in swimming, and from time to time I hear people complain a little about our facilities, but tell us about the facilities you had to work with back in the day. You were teaching young folks and looking after the swim team.
Well, I tell you what, we had the only 50-meter swimming pool in the state of Alabama.
Really?
Finest pool in the state of Alabama. and we turned out some of the best swimmers that's ever been in the state of Alabama. We had a boy named Bobby McCoy who nobody could beat him. And Jimmy Brotherton, Judge Jimmy Brotherton, I had him on the swimming team. It's amazing how I used to really enjoy jumping Brotherton's case. And of course, once he became a judge and all, he jumped my case. So we've really improved, and our football field has improved up here at the high school. All our tennis facilities are better than they were. And we had some grown men back then that played a lot of tennis. Harvey Jackson played. Of course, Jerry Gardner played. He was Mr. Tennis in his own mind, but
I like the way you
but Gardner was a dandy, and then Grady Sparks. Well, just a little Hoyt Young too. He was a good man in our community, and his daughter's carrying on the legacy there. And but Jasper's it's a great place to live. And what I want to dwell on just for a second is you walk down the street and you see people, and they got the best smile in his face, and look, they're happy.
Yeah.
People in Jasper seem to be happy. We're happy with our mayor, with our police department, and all our councilmen, with the exception of Gambrell. We're all happy around here. It's a good place to live. It's a great place to live.
But as I look back, and I guess in my adult life, my early recollections go back to the late '70s, and our downtown Jasper in those days was very vibrant. Our Jewish community, Babe and Ike May, and Frank and Joseph, and
Old Bernard,
tremendous folks, and Bernard Weinstein, and there was a pride in Jasper there that even as a young person I could sense and see. And as that kind of wound down, I think the pride that folks had in Jasper was kind of lost. I don't tell you,
it was for a period of time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just downtown Jasper went dead, but that pride is back with us today. Don't you agree?
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Maybe better than it's ever been before.
Right.
I mean, like I say, you can tell it on people's facial expressions and how they talk about Jasper, and invite people to come and move, to be with us. We're safe, and we've got great educational facilities. I mean, that's two things you can't beat. Feeling safe, walking down the street or walking to your home or getting out and walking in the street. I mean, we feel safe.
Well,
and that's JC and them, and they've done a great job.
And there's a saying, I know you've heard it, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And I look at pictures hanging on the wall here in City Hall, and then my personal experience back in the days that I'm talking about. You had eating establishment. You could eat at the drugstore down here. You had Woolworths. You had for my time, you had Speedy's down the way. You come down here, I think where Young's Jewelry at that S&F restaurant and whatever, and all that kind of went away. And today, guess what? We're filled back up with eating establishments.
Oh man, we are, with every kind of cuisine you want to have.
Right.
I mean, we've got all kind of fine eating facilities, and we got some great fast food facilities too. I mean, we've got the whole gauntlet of it. And that's great. That's a good thing.
Buddy, I know you, we both have known some of them, so many of them have passed on, and I don't see them being replaced, but we had many colorful characters in this city, and comical folks, but good folks. I'm not talking about all,
but they had such a great sense of humor.
Yeah,
Johnny
I'm not talking about off-color stuff. One of the great stories, and you may have heard this, of course, we remember George Lindsay.
Oh, yeah.
And his mama, Miss Ethel, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, lived right up on the corner.
That's right. She, but I was told, of course, political rallies used to be a big thing in this county, and And I heard that Miss Ethel will be invited to come there and provide a little humor at those political rallies. I think this one was taking place out in Sipsey. And I remember she used to come in the bank a lot, and she'd just leave us in stitches. But they said she got up and told the group, she said, I got home last night, and I found 2 men under my bed, and I called the police to come get one of them.
I've heard her tell that. Yeah.
I thought that's a great story.
Hey, she was Goober wasn't half as funny as she was.
Yeah. But younger, I don't know, maybe some of those folks, but we had a lot of colorful people in this city. But as we look down the road going forward, as well as anybody, the world is becoming more complex. It's becoming more challenging, and how you manage for the future is I've been in the middle of mid-year budget reviews with our department heads, and what I'm telling these folks, I said, how you behave and how you manage in the good time will determine how you live in the hard times. And I said, people ask me how I manage, and I said, I manage knowing it's going to rain somewhere. Don't know exactly when, but I'm going to have myself an umbrella.
It is going to rain.
And it's going to rain.
Sometime in our life, rain comes.
Right. And so, we're going to be financially prepared to weather the storm that comes along. And so pleased we've been able to give our people maybe 6 or 7 pay raises in the last 4 years. They were
that's amazing.
Grossly behind the pay schedule that's professionally prepared. And per that schedule, all of our people are paid on par with that today. Our people have the best equipment that they've ever had to operate with, and this year we believe will be the best year we've ever had in the city, and that better prepares us to do those things. I talked to our people. We had a tremendous amount, and we still have some of it, deferred maintenance, and you just can't let all your equipment wear out. And talking about J.C. Poe, and he is a great one. I told Chief Poe, I said, Chief, I don't need to hear from you when all the police cars are worn out. I need to hear from you when there's 2 are worn out, and we'll buy 2, and it doesn't break the bank. And so that's the way we are managing, keeping your eye on the ball, and you certainly understand that term. But what's happening out there, we talk about Jasper growing, I know it is, out on the east side of town behind the hospital in Blackwell Meadows. Those houses are selling pre-construction. They get a lot cleared off. And fellow, Terry Gaganis, I was talking with Terry the other day. Terry lives out there. He walks there in his neighborhood, and people are coming in and buying those houses just by looking at a set of plans. And it's been, I look at our building license report, and you see this, and I can't believe that we had that many Jasper folks walking around homeless. I think there's some people coming to live here. I think that's going to continue.
Yeah, I believe it will. And I've talked to a real estate agent or two, and they said you used to put a house on the market and it'd stay there for several months. Said now you put it on the market, and said before you know it, it's sold.
That's right.
Said our community is just growing and growing, and like I said, people are happy, and that's what makes up a city or a town, is the people in it. And the people in Jasper are happy.
That's right.
They're happy. And that, I hate to say it, but that starts with the mayor. And and the mayor is pretty happy.
Yeah.
And our police people are so polite and nice, but you know what they stand for.
That's right.
And that's the way law enforcement should be.
That's right. That's right. But let's talk a little bit about sports. I know that's been an interest of yours, past, present, and I remember when all the NCAA rules changed, and Terry Bowden came here to speak to the quarterback club, and everybody was so fretful of those new rules, fearful of those new rules and whatever. I almost had to put blinders on Coach Biden so he could come in, not Biden,
Bowden.
come in and speak and get him out of the room without violating something.
Yeah.
But before all that happened, and a lot of people wouldn't know, we really, and you were part of it, we really had some big names come to speak to our
Oh,
quarterback.
did we? I mean, the biggest in the nation.
Yeah,
We had
share with the folks some of
Well,
those
we
names.
had Coach Bryant come and speak with us. Had Coach Jordan come. Coach Bowden came, and we had Jake Gaithers come from that Florida A&M, an all-black school, and he was the #1 winning coach. In fact, in the state of Alabama now, Coach Bryant's #1. A black coach down there at A&M, and I can't remember his name right now, is #2. And then an old boy who coached high school ball here, Larry Blakeney, is #3 in wins. And he, like I said, he coached Walker, and he was a great coach down at Troy.
Yeah.
And so we've had some great people up here. When you had Coach Bryant and Coach Jordan, you had the 2 top people in the state of Alabama come speak
All right,
here.
didn't we have Switzer come? Didn't
Yeah, Barry Switzer came.
Yeah,
Yeah. Boy, he's short and to the point.
Yeah. I was thinking Barry Switzer came.
Yeah,
But,
he came.
you know, but today with all the rules and that won't ever happen again. You'll never get those top guys to come, will you?
And there's another thing about that people don't realize. Coach Jordan and Coach Bryant didn't make more than the president of the university did.
No.
They weren't making several $1 million a year.
No.
And I won't tell this story. I think it's a good one. Coach Bryant and Coach Jordan, I was on the first committee for the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Right.
And we had a initiative meeting, first get-together we had, and of course Coach Bryant and Coach Jordan were going to be there. And Coach Jordan came in, sat down. He refers to himself as Suge. And Coach Bryant was a little late getting there. And he came in and he said he had been on a recruiting trip, you know. Well, he looked like he'd slept in his pants, but they were all clinging to his legs, that static electricity. And Coach Jordan said, Paul, he said, I call him Paul because that's how he's listed in the telephone. he said, Paul, if you'll take your shoes off, take your socks off, turn them wrong side out and put them back on, said, that won't happen. And Coach Bryant took his shoes off and his socks off, turned them wrong side out, put them on, and that static electricity just went away. And he looked at Coach Jordan and he said, well, I'll be damned, Suge, you was right. Coach Jordan said, I'm right sometimes.
But those 2 gentlemen right there, but I'll share with you something I did right here in this room maybe 3 weeks ago. But those 2 gentlemen were the epitome of leadership, and leadership by then and today, the fundamentals of leadership have not changed.
No. And some things don't change.
That's right, and they embraced the right things. They knew how to do it, and I bring our department heads in for leadership meetings probably about every 2 months, and the last one we had right there on that big screen TV. I've had this, and I was in leadership school. A video of Coach Bryant talking to the incoming freshmen in 61 or 62. And, that gravelly voice and whatever. But what he was talking about is giving a little extra.
Yeah.
And then what it means. And he's telling those folks that, if you'll do this and whatever, you'll win a national championship. And that group of young folks did. But that message is relevant, was relevant then, and it's relevant today.
Still is. Most people don't realize that Coach Jordan was on 5 invasions in World War II.
Yeah.
Coach Bryant was in 3 invasions.
Yeah.
Those guys knew the difference between a game and war.
That's right.
I was privileged one time over at Mississippi State, and Coach Jordan, while the team worked out before the game, was always sitting on the sideline, and I had the privilege of being sitting with him. And a young sports writer from Starkville came up and said, "Coach, can I talk to you a minute?" Coach Jordan said, "Yes." He said, "We're going to have a war out there today, aren't we, Coach?" Coach Jordan said, "No, son, we're not going to have a war." Said, "We're going to have a football game."
Yeah.
Said, "There won't be any body bags and there won't be any body parts left on that field."
Yeah.
Said, "We're just going to have a football game." So now when people say, "Well, they're going to have a war," I go back to what Coach Jordan said. No, we're just going to have a football game. That's it.
He understood war.
He knew war.
Right,
There's
right.
a difference.
Buddy, I appreciate so much you joining me today. I appreciate your kind words about our city. I think we're prepared and even better prepared for a bright future for this city, and we can do the things that we can be proud of. Geographically, we're in a great location with the interstate, and I really believe if we continue to do our part, and when I say our part, that's every citizen in this community and the leadership here at City Hall, that we're going to see our city continue to prosper and do the things we want to do, need to do, and our city will be one that we can all be proud of.
Hey, Mayor, I appreciate you inviting me down here, and anytime I can help, just feel free to call on me, and be sure and congratulate our law enforcement people.
I will. I'll be talking to those folks in a few days, and I'll share that. And it is because, and I know it can change a snap of a finger, but our crime rate is pretty good.
Oh, yeah, we're fine. We're fine. Just keep it up.
All right, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being with us today, and we'll look forward to being with you next week. As always, if you have questions, comments, send them, and I'll provide a prompt answer. As I always remind you, if it is a product of a poison pen, I put it in the trash can. But if you want to know something about your city or whatever, we're going to answer your questions. So again, thank you for being with us.